Welcome to Coffee with Bridget. And today's coffee is Andy's mint chocolate flavored coffee. You may hear dog barking in the background and maybe even my kids. But today I want to talk about a couple of different things. The first thing I wanted to talk about, and by the way, the coffee is good. The first thing I wanted to talk about is that tomorrow I am going to release an ASMR style crystal healing video. Now, my channels are very eclectic. I kind of just do whatever I feel like doing. They are under my name, so this is just kind of my channel where Bridget is up to Bridget things. And so tomorrow I'm going to do the ASMR style crystal healing video. I did do a poll on my YouTube channel, and 2 people responded that they wanted to see the ASMR crystal videos come back. No one commented that they didn't want to see them. And so they're going to be back tomorrow. The other thing I wanted to talk about is my book, Coffee Girls. And I'm really excited because Coffee Girls is on a Goodreads giveaway right now. Almost 300 people have already entered the giveaway to win one of the 50 copies that I'm giving away. And that's really exciting. As an indie author, seeing any interest in your book is exciting. So Coffee Girls in particular has a very close place in my heart. When it comes to my books, the progression of them is in my teens, I wrote Morosis and The Bloodstone, which will be coming out soon, which is the sequel to Morosis. And then in my 20s, I wrote Coffee Girls. And then I'd say Everyday Awakening is a reflection of my 30s when I was pursuing the 7 systems, whether it was the chakras, the Sephiroth, on the Kabbalah Tree of Life, the 7 tarot cards of the Seeker, etc. 7 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's a lot of systems of 7 that I cover in Everyday Awakening, and that really reflects my 30s. And in my 40s is the 13 moons. That's where the wisdom comes in, and being more connected and deeply grounded and having a daily practice. It took till my 40s to really get that zeroed in to a level where I was happy with it, and it really reflected my knowledge that I'd learned during my 30s. So that's a little breakdown of when my books were written, and subsequently I published all of them in my 40s. The very first book that I wrote and published, The Purpose of Life, was basically my philosophy after the studies that I had. It was basically all the knowledge that I'd gained, and I distilled it down into one book. But I decided to not publish that anymore, or no longer have that offered, because I no longer believe in a creator. And so I didn't believe that it was a good thing to have something out there that I no longer believed in. So I went ahead and removed that. So you can't get The Purpose of Life anymore. But I'm excited to have Coffee Girls, which is the second book I had published as a self-published indie author, getting attention on Goodreads. Now, Coffee Girls is like a snapshot of my 20s when I was working in customer service and I was very angsty. It's funny because I used ChatGPT to edit the book, and ChatGPT saw it as very edgy. And I was very edgy in my 20s. It's a very different energy than I carry now. And I think we all were. The 20s are just such a hard set of years. It's a hard decade in a person's life. You know, you're trying to find your way. Your whole life is ahead of you. You're expected to know what you're supposed to do in your 20s to find your way. And I was very opinionated. And, I had a very specific perspective on life, and that perspective was really challenged. And Coffee Girls is about that challenge and how I overcame it and went on to become something new as a result of my relationships. And I think that is the main message that I hope that people carry from Coffee Girls, is that your relationships do impact people. Your behavior impacts people. From the customers to the people who are slinging coffee, everyone interacts, and whether you like it or not, even a small action, even though you may not remember it, is something that you will take home with you, that you will have filed into your mind and into your subconscious, and it does influence you. I was in customer service for over a decade in a variety of different jobs, and I may end up back in customer service pretty soon. We'll see what happens. Right now, things in my life are very much up in the air. But customer service is very challenging. It is one of those things where you don't have much power, and the customers have a lot of the power, and it's a tough job. And a lot of people I know in customer service are not very happy with their jobs. They're not very happy and feeling fulfilled. I was able to carve out a niche and feel very fulfilled by doing customer service. I really felt that it was a practice that I could do to serve my fellow humans. I would practice compassion and patience and cultivating that in the moment. Every, latte and coffee that I fixed was made with love. And I think that does influence people. There is the famous studies about water, and of course, water is in coffee. And, water carries memory. The water crystals, I can't remember, I believe it was a Japanese scientist. The water crystals formed differently, but depending on the different emotion the person projected on the water. And so when our food and our drinks are being prepared for us, the influence and the temperament and the mood of the person who's fixing it could be conveyed through the preparation of it and influence how we perceive reality. It might be just a subtle influence, but I think it's something that's really possibly there. So I always did make things with intention and love and care, so that each person that received the latte or coffee or tea or whatever it was that I fixed would feel that love and care when I gave it to them. And even if they weren't receptive to it, even if they were not the best people, I still set the intention of creating with love and care, because I do think that it influences people. And, it's one of those things that most people don't think about, is how their interactions with each person either uplifts or, derails a person's day. But Coffee Girls is all about relationships. And it was about my friendship with a series of people that really influenced me positively in my 20s. And there is some dark stuff in there. It is edgy. And is very real. It is something that I think, most people can relate to. There is some LGBTQ content in there, because I had friends who are lesbians. And so there is a lot in this little book. I mean, it's a short book. It's only a few hundred pages. But it is very dear to my heart, and I am so excited that it's getting its time in the sun as a Goodreads giveaway. I was a little bit worried about putting it up, because I do have 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon and Goodreads for Good Coffee Girls, and that could change with the 50 people who get the book and their reviews. But I figure it's worth it, and I think that being vulnerable in this way is important, so that other people can relate and see that other people struggle, especially in their 20s. So that is primarily what I came on here to talk about today, is Coffee Girls, talk about the Goodreads entries. And yeah, being an author is quite the adventure. But I really appreciate every one of you that makes it to this part of the video. I know this is the end. Not everybody makes it here. And I hope you are all doing well. And I'm really looking forward to doing that ASMR inspired crystal healing video tomorrow. So take care and farewell.